Hello, and welcome to What's Your Story. We have a very interesting guest for you today. She's in Costa Rica. She is the founder and CEO of the Heart Space, which we'll ask her to tell you what it's all about. It's a global community of that serves leaders, entrepreneurs, and advanced spiritual seekers to their fullest alignment and success. And she's also a best-selling author. She's devoted to transformation, empowerment, and prosperity, and a Reiki master teacher and a business coach. So she's quite a well-rounded lady. Welcome, if you will, and I will welcome Kelly Keefe. Kelly, nice to have you with us.
Thank you so much for having me, Judy.
Thank you. I'm absolutely delighted. So tell us what the Heart Space is. It sounds wonderful.
Yeah, so the Heart Space, I was asked by God to start in 2012, and I fully birthed it into the world in 2016. And we are an organization that supports people in learning how to live with their heart fully activated and getting understood of what is it that they're here to create this lifetime and to thrive fully in alignment. So we serve in the healing arts all the way up to supporting people in building a profitable heart-led business. So we're able to meet people where they're at through healing, through group programs, one-on-one coaching, and retreats.
Amazing. Sounds wonderful. Yeah. Do you hold these retreats all over the world?
Yeah, we've done in Costa Rica was our most recent one. We'll be doing a retreat in Bali in April of 2025. And they just continue to pop up. But Costa Rica is our main hub of where we offer the retreats because it's mi corazón and such a special land.
Okay. All right. Well, answer me this question. What do you think is the most important quality of leaders today?
I love this question. So for me, a leader is someone who has learned how to lead themselves and can support in creating other leaders. So for me, excuse me.
I was wondering if those were your dogs or if that was something going on in the studio.
You couldn't make that up. The timing. My apologies.
No problem. Absolutely no problem at all.
Me wanted to make a guest appearance.
Yeah, it shows everybody that you're real.
Totally. So for me, as we've moved into the age of Aquarius, leadership is all about first understanding how do we lead ourselves and be able to know our own vehicle and be able to navigate in a realm of self-mastery. So that way we can lead by example and then support others in elevating into their leadership.
Okay. And how is the subconscious mind impacting our lives? And does it impact our leadership? And why is all of this important?
Girl. So the subconscious mind, reminder to everyone who's listening, it's subconscious. So we're not aware of what's going on in there consciously. And it's running up to 90% of our day-to-day lives. So the thoughts, the beliefs, the patterns, the habits, all of these different things of how we move through our day-to-day life is being run on the subconscious mind. And the subconscious mind was created from the time of 0 to 11 years old. So before we start to really shine a light on what's going on in there and rewire it, essentially our child within ourselves is running our day-to-day lives, which cultivates us to being into reacting more than responding. Mm-hmm. And as leaders, whether that means you're running an organization or you are, just operating yourself of leading your day-to-day life, if we don't address what's going on in there, our inner 9-year-old or wounded 6-year-old or, whatever age range it may be, is the one who's actually showing up to the experiences and is making us make our decisions. So as we go in, we have the opportunity to rewire so we can show up fully in our empowered space, allowing ourselves to open up for more love, more prosperity, and responsiveness, which cultivates more connection in all forms.
It's interesting because so many people aren't aware that their subconscious mind really drives a lot of the things they do on a day-to-day basis. I mean, but look at it. Once you learn to drive a car, you just do that. Your subconscious mind just does it. You learn to cook certain things, you just automatically do it. All these things become automatic. So it makes sense that a lot of the things we learned when we were very young would still be very automatic today. Is that what we're saying here?
Yeah, and you would think that someone would have told us along the way
Yeah.
that this is what's happening, but that's a whole nother can of worms of why this information's not provided to us, but it's 90% of our day-to-day life. So, I mean, the fortunate thing is, Judy, that we have the opportunity to rewire it. It's not that we're doomed and we're stuck with whatever's happened. We can go back and rewire and reprogram things, but this is an important piece for us to just bring at least to awareness and start to ask ourselves, why do I do the things I do? And can remember if there's a habit or a pattern that's been cyclical, we don't have to just accept this is just the way it is, or this is just the way I am, or these people can have this and I can't. That's all not true. That's fear, false evidence appearing real. That's just something going on in the unseen realms of ourselves.
Yes, yes. And so we can reprogram this. Is that right?
Yeah, there's a lot of really powerful tools and techniques. Some are rather simple as we begin to learn them. A lot of things that allow us to radically transform are very simple, but since we're human, the more simple something is, the less we believe it because we like to make everything complex.
That's for sure.
But
That's for
yes,
sure.
absolutely.
Yeah. So what is your relationship to creativity, and how does that fit into this whole picture?
Yeah. So creativity, I say I'm an artist at heart. I've always been someone who was creating as a child. I was telling stand-up comedy at 6 years old. I was writing chapter books in third grade. I was drawing fashion lines. That's always been a part of who I am. And my own journey of my rewiring and breaking through was a lot in my own creative expression where I shut that down as I was growing up from the various different bullyings and all the things that I got to rewire and do my inner work on. But for me, the creative expression has been a big part of my own healing journey and learning and remembering that the creative expression is such a powerful alchemical tool that supports us in processing emotions and experiences and can liberate us into new facets of our own expression. Even if we create something and then we throw it away, we don't have to share everything we create in the world, but it's a very powerful resource that's available to all of us to support us in our own healing work and to grow in our power and our confidence and our mission in this world.
Yes, yes. I teach art at the university here in Las Vegas, and it's amazing to me the number of people that come into the art class and say, I don't know why I'm here. I'm not very good. When I was in first grade, my teacher threw my picture in the trash, and I've never been able to do anything since then. And all I can do is stick figures. I think a lot of people have that experience, and they don't believe they can be creative. Do you find that a lot of people just say I'm not creative and they don't go for it?
Yeah, and it's so sad. Like my heart, I couldn't help but grab my heart as you share that, and thank you for that work. That's amazing, to be teaching art and opening people to that. But yeah, a lot of people have had that shut down from experiences like that, or being told, okay, it's time to grow up now, and what does that mean? Or that's such a strong belief of I'm not creative, where even if someone's deeply rooted in the business world, which is great. I love business. I love talking business. You can bring creativity even into that. And the more that we understand, it's creativity is simply opening a new avenue or perspective of how we've been doing things or playing in the unseen world. So it's it saddens me, where I forget who said the quote, but something of an artist is simply an adult who's been able to keep their inner child alive.
I like that. I like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people, I think, don't realize that creative thinking is also creativity. And whenever we have a business, we need to be creative thinkers because we need to be able to solve problems and get through day-to-day experiences and deal with all kinds of people, which takes a lot of creativity as well.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so that's kind of interesting. Um, how do you live like you live? You live such a powerful, intuitive led life. How do you live like that?
Breath by breath, girl. No, but it's been, I feel very fortunate looking back of connecting the dots, as Steve Jobs said. You can only understand every experience you've had in your life looking back and connecting the dots. As a child, I had very mystical experiences and was always very in tune with the unseen world. And my defense mechanism as a child, because as I like to say, I'm an advanced healer, AKA I've had a very adverse childhood and I got a lot of things to learn to heal from. And my defense mechanism was to pretend to sleep. So I spent a lot of hours of my childhood and adolescence pretending to sleep, AKA meditation. And so I would go into these deeper realms and into these states that, looking back, was really continuing to strengthen my relationship with thyself and that deep listening. And so as I've moved through the world, there's an understanding, and I'm human, so of course I still have the things. I don't mean to make this sound like to anyone I have it all figured out or I never have a challenge or question anything. Like, I'm a human, but there is the understanding of deep listening. And so there's time where I sit in the silence and I listen to the guidance. And I just listen, I'm obedient. And there's that deep trust that I've built in, some say it's in myself. I say it's personally a trust in God, because it's not me telling me what to do. There's something bigger than me that's guiding me to be able to do that. And so I listen, I obey, I experience, I express gratitude, and I repeat. And it hasn't really served me wrong too often.
Yes, yes. I had another student tell me recently that prayer is when she talks to God, and meditation is when she listens.
Yes. A true conversation. I love that.
I found that to be a very good definition for people who don't understand what meditation really is. I thought that
Mm.
was a great definition. Did you agree with it?
I agree with that completely. I love the angle of that, remembering it's a conversation, that
Yes.
we're in a connection with God, and there's not just always talking at him, but also to receive it. I love that.
Yeah, yeah. What advice would you give to someone who is feeling that they are ready to begin creating their vision in the physical plane, but they're not sure where to begin?
Mm. Anything that we're already seeing. Just please know, if you're listening to this, place a hand on your heart and just remind yourself, like, it already exists. It's already happened. We just get to remember how it happened. If there's a dream that you're holding in your heart, it's there because you're meant to experience that this lifetime. Your whatever your unique quirks and characteristics and experiences you've had, that's also divinely designed for you to be able to create what you're, here to create. My invitation would be to feel deeper into it. What would that really, okay, when it's here, not if it would be here, when it's here, what would that feel like? What would it really look like? What would you be smelling? What would you be wearing? What would you be doing? What would you have? And really allow yourself to go into that experience. And then, most importantly, ask yourself, who would you be being? when you're there in the final end of it, how would you be showing up in your day-to-day life? Who would you be being? And begin to be that version of yourself now and start doing some of those things that you know that version of you would be doing. It's a powerful teaching of be, do, have. It's a very sobering practice, but it's a great way to shift in and start making progress to sync up with that vision and that timeline.
I was expecting you to say set some goals. I'm thrilled to hear you say something totally different.
That's important as well, but again, that's such the fun of understanding energetics.
Yes.
And then the grounded plane of the doings and the beings. And that's where, when we're doing business coaching, like in the Ascended Mastermind, we're doing such a combination of the energetics where if someone's just starting their business or they haven't been able to break through the 6-figure threshold, let's say, where we get to say, okay, cool, we could strategize until we're blue in the face, but we need to also look at the energetics. Who would you be being? How would you be showing up for yourself? And we get to start to match that so strategy and energetics can meet, and then it's a no-brainer.
That makes sense to me. Makes real good sense. It makes real good sense. So you're going to be speaking at the Women Thrive conference in March, and you're going to come from Costa Rica to do that, or are you going to do it online?
I'm going to do it online.
Mhm.
I'm going to just do the live stream in. You never know with me. I can be a little bit of a wild card, so maybe a last minute, but it's seeming like I'm going to live stream in. Will you be there in person?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
No, they're in Spain and I'm in Las Vegas, so I'm sure I'll be live streaming too. But I think it'll be wonderful. It's a fabulous group of women, and so many of you have written for my Choices magazine articles this month, and that's absolutely beautiful, and I really appreciate that. It's a great group of women. I'm impressed.
It's honestly, I'm so grateful for the community, and that was something where, as going through the process, that's one of the biggest things that had me say, yes, in addition to, of course, being able to share with people, but understanding the power of community more and more as we continue into the Aquarian age. And truly, it's together we thrive. So, and I'm so grateful for the opportunities you continue to create for us to also weave and connect.
Yes, yes, yes. Now, did you move to Costa Rica to do this business, or did you move there and then you got into this?
So I was already in the heart space, had been alive for 4 years. I actually started in New York. I started with simply doing Reiki sessions. Single Reiki sessions was how I began, and then it evolved very quickly. I came here when lockdown began. I was already halfway out New York City as that was happening. And as soon as I came down, I just realized, I was like, this is home. It really is a space where I connect deeply with the land, the people. There's a true living in harmony with the earth, so many of my core values all in one. And so I was aware that this is home. And I was here for 2 years, like a year and a half, 2 years. And then I've been traveling quite a bit. So I was nomadic, but landing back down and starting to decide where I'm going to set my strong roots here.
I wondered because I've been considering moving to South America myself, and so I was just wondering, what made you make the decision to do that, to go that way?
Yeah, such as, a spirit kind of brings us back in one. I won't tell you what to do, but do it. But, back to that deep listening,
Yeah.
where I was in that limbo space. I stayed with family because I was already halfway out when the borders closed. I was heading to Guatemala, but right before I got there, they closed the borders. So I was kind of in this spot. And I went and I rented a beach house for a month and a half. And the woman who owns it, she packed up her life and came to Costa Rica. And that's why her house became available. So she said to me, when you're done here, you should come to Costa Rica. These are your people. She's human design, past life. So we're very aligned in many ways. She said, the women that I'm with, they've been in the transformational arts for for decades, and it's a beautiful community. And I sat with it and I prayed on it, and it was go. So I packed up my life into 2 suitcases, and I dipped out, and it was one of the best decisions I've ever made.
Good for you. Good for
Yeah,
you.
thank
I so admire you for doing that. I really think that's absolutely wonderful. So, what else do you think is really important to share with our audience today um, about their spirituality, about finding out who they really are, and about their believing in themselves?
Yeah. I feel fear gets a really bad rep.
Ooh.
I really would, just remind everyone when you're feeling into who you're here to be, and it's a dance of becoming. So give yourself a grace pass if you're not air quote there, whatever that means. There's no end point. So one, congratulations, you're there right now. But as you're on the way of going there and stepping into bigger versions of yourselves, feeling fear is actually a really good sign you're on the right path. And fear is not something that we need to defeat or overcome or slay, where a lot of teachings are showing that. Rather, it is a team member that's a part of your whole makeup of yourself. And so there's an opportunity to, rather than try to beat it down or get rid of it, there's an opportunity to more befriend it and understand it and show compassion to it, so you can work together as a team and move through and take those steps a lot faster and gracefully. I feel there's always a misunderstanding of what fear is all about. It's really misunderstood. Its intentions are good,
Mhm.
and we can move through with a lot more grace if we shift our relationship to fear.
Thank you for that. I think a lot of people think fear is bad, and yet we all have it from time to time.
Yeah, it's a part of the human experience. It's a part of the team.
It is. I thank you for being here with me today. We're out of time. I can't believe it went so fast. It was wonderful talking with you. And
Yes.
thank you for being my guest. And I hope you'll come back and be my guest again sometime.
It'll be a privilege and an honor. Thank you so much for having me.
Bye, Kelly. Thank you. And
Thank you.
thank you for joining us. If you are a woman entrepreneur and you have a story that you'd like to share, please contact me, Judy at judymorio.com. I spell my name with an I, Judi, at judymorio.com. Thank you.